Black and blue, I crawled along the wreckage of what now is gone. Back to you to fight another day. I'll go on and on and on and on. I'll face it, the demons I created with every last part of me. The pain will fade and I'll go on and on and on and on. I'll face it, the demons I created with every last part of me. The pain will fade and I'll go on and on and on and on.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this midweek edition of the Squared Circle Podcast. I am indeed your host, Nate the Epic Great, here, of course, for Evolve Productions, always at Spreaker.com, iTunes Player.fm, PodDirectory.com, Stitcher.com, TuneIn Radio, IW Nerd, Satchel Podcast Player for your Android and smartphones, as well as Mr. NTG 1990 on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, what a week it has been. Build up to Survivor Series, build up to NXT TakeOver, as well as Aztec Warfare 3. Oh my gosh, so much to talk about, but we get right into it. Monday Night Raw was very... it was very lackluster, to kind of say the least. I don't know. Both Raw and SmackDown did not really feel too special, I guess you could say. With Raw, it was mainly everybody's fighting against each other for the reason of just getting the idea of I don't understand what it was all about. Basically, just talking about Monday Night Raw really doesn't work out too well, because both Raw and SmackDown basically had the invasion deals where they were all invading on each other's shows and they were fighting each other. There were a couple tag team matches which really just didn't really work out too much. New Day lost to the team of Jericho, Strowman, and Rollins. Cesaro and Sheamus lost to Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. Brian Kendrick defeated Sin Cara. Not really too much to say. There was the Goldberg and Brock Lesnar deal. That was actually probably one of the more cooler things. I think that the way that they built the Bill Goldberg and Brock Lesnar match has been really good. They really took it for a different turn this past week, in which we saw Paul Heyman really get his hands into a very touchy subject, where he talks about how, you're going to have to accept the fact that, your kid and your wife is going to really have to bear witness their husband and father basically getting destroyed. And Goldberg replies, the next time that you mention my family again, I'm going to tear your head off and I'm going to feed it to Brock Lesnar. This was a good promo, though, between the two of them. It definitely builds up a bit between the two of them, and in all honesty, I think that with everything that's going on, I think that this could be a really good match between the two of them. It's a well-anticipated rematch. It will definitely take things to another level. I'm thinking that maybe they could probably have somebody interfere to save the matchup in case they don't have that much in the way of confidence, but we'll see. Alright, so from Raw, we go on to SmackDown, which was a little bit more eventful because the 5-on-5 tag matchup got a little more interesting because King Booker came in and he talked about how they need to really be united. It was just one of those funny moments where you saw King Booker, and at least with that King Booker segment, there was not too much. It was not too much, and it wasn't too little, I guess you could say. The whole Fandango and Tyler Breeze almost as the fashion police, I think that works out very well for them. I think they have the attitude and they have the kind of interesting charisma that they needed to pull that off. So it's kind of cool seeing that. We saw the returning of the Cutting Edge, as well as the Undertaker making his return. And Undertaker basically was there as kind of like the pep talk kind of guy. It was interesting. I was not expecting that to happen. It was one of those things where what happened was Undertaker basically came out and said that I will not let WrestleMania basically be where I'm fully represented. If he shows his loyalty to SmackDown and basically says, hey, if you guys lose, then you're going to have something else to worry about besides losing to Team Raw. Basically threatening every single one of the guys on Team SmackDown. Very interesting. But we go from that. I don't know. Survivor Series is looking okay. It's just, I don't know. There's just something about it that just doesn't make me want to see it. And then there's a part of me that thinks, there might be some matches that are good. Oh gosh, how could I forget? Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz happened, and The Miz regained the Intercontinental title. They found a way to make me hate the Intercontinental Championship matchup now, because they put the title back on The Miz. For what reason? No idea. They could have had a great matchup between Sami Zayn and Dolph Ziggler, and there could have been one of those things where it's like, nothing. Well, we don't know what's going to happen, and blah, blah, blah. But now it's just like, okay, great. So we now know that The Miz is going to just win. Great job, WWE. You really know how to pull a fast one on us and make us really hate so many different things. So, yeah, that happened. I'm just going to go through the match card real quick, because why not? We'll have predictions for the show in a couple days here. Yeah. Intercontinental title matchup, The Miz against Sami Zayn. If Zayn wins, he takes the title over to Raw. Singles matchup for the Cruiserweight Championship, Brian Kendrick defending against Kalisto, and if Kalisto wins, the title and the division will go to SmackDown. We have the 10-on-10 Survivor Series 5-on-5 tag team elimination matchup. We have a 5-on-5 women's elimination match, and then we have the main 5-on-5 matchup. And then also Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. And apparently, Goldberg injured himself during the whole deal on Raw, which I don't know what exactly happened. He might have thrown out his shoulder by going a little too crazy, and I did notice him just take a guy and just toss him over like it was nothing. And then he just oversold it just a little bit. So that might have been the reason why. I don't know. It was kind of interesting. But he said that come hell or high water, he's coming in, he's going to fight this Sunday, which I really admire. I admire that, I respect that, and I'm looking forward to this matchup on Sunday between the two of them. Alright, so NXT, they more focused on building up the matches for NXT TakeOver with a lot of promo packages and a lot of the weird random matches. They capitalized on the Cedric Alexander Andrade Cien Almas feud, in which Andrade won. The Drifter Elias Sampson came back. They continued the feud with Liv Morgan, Aaliyah, as well as Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, in which Peyton Royce won. Not too much to say for that. So let's go into like the NXT predictions, in which we have the Revival defending their tag team titles against DIY in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the titles. That'll be a very interesting matchup, to say at least. Another tag matchup in which we see the Authors of Pain against TM61, with Paul Ellering suspended above the ring inside a cage, and this will be the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. I'm still surprised they didn't go with DIY versus Sanity, or I would have loved to send, like I said, I would have loved to have seen him do DIY versus Roderick Strong and Austin Aries, but unfortunately, due to the unexpected injury of Austin Aries, that didn't happen. So that just sucks. Bobby Roode taking on Ty Dillinger. I think this might be match of the night, if not the main event. Asuka versus Mickie James. I think that this is going to really show Mickie James at her finest, as well as give Asuka something really major to do. I'm looking forward to seeing how this ends. And then Shinsuke Nakamura defending against Samoa Joe. Or maybe I should say Nakamura Shinsuke versus Samoa Joe. So that's really all there is for WWE, really. Not too much in the way of excitement, I guess. I don't know, I just didn't feel like the Raw, SmackDown are very special. NXT is kind of just building up more of their NXT TakeOver event. I wish they would have more matches on here, but they've only got about 6, roughly. So, fortunately, that won't happen. But now let's get into the main topic of Aztec Warfare 3. Jeez Louise, this was a huge match in and of itself. 20 competitors competing in a Royal Rumble style matchup. The only way you can be vanquished is by pinfall or submission. And oh my gosh, they started off with Matanza and Johnny Mundo. Johnny Mundo was originally supposed to come in at number 12, but he shot his mouth off and he said, hey, if I don't, win the matchup tonight, if I don't win the matchup tonight, then I will just cash in my Gift of the Gods title next week. He gave him the 1 week notice, so Dario just basically said, okay, fine, then you're number 2, no problem. This was, man, you look at all the stars and all the star power that they had in there and how many people really made it just a very special matchup. And if you saw my live reaction deal that I did for KCAT Community Radio, you'll see just all the great stuff that happened there. We saw lists from, Matanza, Mundo, Jack Evans, PJ Black, Drago, Lunar Star, Lunar Moon, Solar Moon. I forgot what her name was. I feel bad for not remembering her name. Mariposa, and then there was also Marty the Moth, Son of Havoc, Famous B, Dr. Wagner Jr., Mil Muertes, Sexy Star. The list goes on and on. The Mac was involved in the Final Four, which was really awesome to see. This was a damn good matchup. A lot of things even happened during this. Memorable moments, great wrestling. We even saw a Black Lotus make an appearance with her triad group. There were like 3 other women that came in, and they assaulted Pentagon Dark and cost him his matchup inside in the Aztec Warfare. So they're definitely going to continue the Black Lotus Pentagon Dark story there. I'm looking forward to that. And again, as soon as I heard the name of Black Lotus, I thought, oh my gosh, these are the triads that she was talking about. Immediately, I'm thinking, oh shit, that is not a good thing. This was, again, a great event. And the final 6 competitors were Matanza, Rey Mysterio, Johnny Mundo, The Mac, Sexy Star, and Mil Muertes. And it took everything that they had to try and even vanquish Matanza. We saw kicks from Mundo. We saw the Codebreaker from Sexy Star. We see kicks from The Mac, followed by a stunner. 2 619s by